Hello and welcome to Eva's House of Spirit. I'm Eva, and today I'm going to show you part 2 of my Altoid tin altars series. I just wanted to start the video out at least showing my face once, because this is how the rest of the video is pretty much going to be. The reason why is I'm going to show you how I I'm going to make these Altoids tins my own. With that said, let's get started. The reason it took me a while to make this video is that I put a lot of thought into what exactly I was going to put into my tins, because the small one, for example, it's so tiny, and I'm like, what in the world can I even fit in there? And I managed to fit a few things in here. One of them I'm going to cover later, though, because it's a surprise. But I was able to get 3 incense cones and 3 little birthday candles. I had to trim a little tiny bit off the bottom. They were a little shorter. I just trimmed a little tiny bit off the bottom with a scissor, but I got 3 little birthday candles, 3 incense cones. I managed to get a book of matches in here, but I had to take a scissor and like shave down the sides because it was too wide. So matches, candles, incense, and I got another extra little incense burning disc from the Walmart incense. So yeah, that's what I managed to fit into this little baby altar. I don't have an image planned for the top of my little altar because honestly, I'm not sure what I want to use this altar for yet. So this is not the one I'm going to actually be crafting with today. I'm going to be showing you more of me making this one my own. But I wanted to tell you and show you that you can fit things in the baby Altoids tins. Sometimes it takes a little bit of like finagling and playing around to get them to sit into the tin correctly so that they'll, so everything will fit. You may have to kind of like, play around a little bit with how the items sit inside the tin, but it can be done. It can be done. So, that's the little tin, and let me show you what I managed to get into the bigger tin. This one kind of gives me a lot more options, I feel. In this one, I managed to get 4 birthday candles. No, 5 birthday candles. Okay, 5 birthday candles, 5 incense cones, I got a pen, a bunch of little pieces of paper, I got a quartz crystal necklace, an incense burner, and a mirror in my little, that's what I got in my bigger tin. Oh, and I forgot, I also had an oil vial in there, and I also had a miniature lighter in there. So I had a pretty good kit in the bigger sized Altoids tin. The reason I chose red candles is because I didn't happen to have white, and for me, red is a power color, so I decided to go with the red birthday candles. As for my oil, I decided to use dragon's blood oil because I feel that it's empowering as well as protective. The incense cones, I know they're a little bit of a weird color for dragon's blood, but they are dragon's blood incense cones. And the reason I chose these items is because, okay, with the exception of water, you pretty much have all your elements here. Earth is like the crystal, could be considered a manifestation of earth, as can be the mirror. Air, you have the pen, which is also, you know, it's Eastern because it has to do with ideas, thought, you know, it's equivalent to the wand. So the pen and paper is symbolic of air, so you get earth, air. Fire, obviously the incense and the candles. Also, going back to air, the incense is kind of like on the border of air and fire. So you got earth, air, and fire. You know, your lighter too would be also fire. And you can, when you choose your items for your kit, you can choose a color of your lighter based on what the color symbolism is. I went with black because I feel like black symbolizes the subconscious, and it's the subconscious that activates the work, so I thought that makes sense. So that's why I went with that. So yeah, you know, and I have my mirror to amplify my work, you know. I haven't actually prepared this one yet, but I have the mirror, you know, to work my little birthday candles on, you know, my oil to anoint my candles, my incense to carry my prayers, you know, work with my candle burning, my crystal. I feel that it could be charged with an intention, and then, you know, I could, you know, kind of hold it while I'm doing my work and then wear it, you know. I could do that. And the paper and the pen, I can use this to draw sigils, to write down petitions, what have you, whatever strikes me. So that's why I chose these items. And now I'm going to, I think I'm going to put them aside for a moment, because now I want to move on to showing you the image I chose for my bigger Altoids portable altar. And I'm going to show you how to put that in. Okay. Now, I went online and I got a couple of pictures, and I kind of photoshopped them together to create this image. And what this image is, I have a very unique beliefs. This image is kind of, it combines a lot of other images. You have the host of, you know, the angels at either side. You have the all-seeing eye of God, which I equate with all of holiness, like every holy power in existence, which I often address my prayers to, all of holiness, and that's what I'm talking about when I do that. Here down below, it's hard to see. I'm going to try to hold it closer. There are two deities that I work with. There is the totem of dog, the totem of goose, the totem of owl, which is very light. You know, these are animal totem spirits that I work with very often. You know, and I left a little bit of space on either side so that later, if I feel that I've missed anything, I can add something in. But I feel that this pretty much sums up the sorts of powers that I work with and you know, tend to pray to. So I created my image, you know, I photoshopped this all together to make it kind of work for me. And it's about the right size, because if you hold the tin up to the image, let me see if I can line this up. You can kind of see that it's about the right size. It looks like it should fit. So now I'm going to cut out my image. And I'm going to be fitting it to my Altoids tin. And yeah, I'm kind of excited about this. This is a project I've wanted to do for a while, because I just thought it'd be really, really nifty. And you know, like I said before in the past, you know, if you don't connect to the God concept, put a picture of nature in there. Put a picture of something inspiring in there. You know, put a symbol, a sigil, whatever you feel you best connect with. put that in there instead. You know, it should be very personal to you. It shouldn't be, you shouldn't do something just because I tell you to do it, or you shouldn't do something because, you know, because that's how people do it. You should do something because it feels right to you. Because I feel that if something doesn't resonate with you, you probably won't get great results with it. And it's kind of silly to pretend to be something or to pretend to do something that you don't believe in. That's kind of silly. Okay. What I was doing is I kind of pressed in the picture with my nail to fold the corners in, like I kind of tucked them in there. I made little creases with my nails so that when I pull this back out, I can kind of see where I need to trim, because now I have these creases, so I can see that, like, that's where I gotta cut off. See how, like, for example, that corner, that's where I gotta cut. So I'm going to cut these corners now so that they'll fit my tin nicely. I'm just gonna nicely trim this. And then I'm just going to test it by putting it back into the tin lid and make sure it sits in there. Yep, it sits in there really nicely. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you look inside an Altoids tin, there's all these indentations. If you try to glue that picture on that piece of paper flat to this, it's going to get indentations. So, cardboard. We're going to have to trace this image on cardboard. And I'm going to use my nifty pen that I just happened to have from my kit because I forgot to grab a pen. We're going to trace around this so that we know the right size to cut the cardboard. Just gently trace. Be careful not to accidentally write on your divinity picture or your altar picture. You could flip it over so that if you do write on it, you're writing on the back of it instead. But I don't know. I'm a person who sometimes does things that I know I shouldn't probably do them that way, but I do them that way anyway. So, yeah. Well, I'm almost done with this. And then comes the glue stick part, which is every crafter's favorite, I'm sure. Okay. Just kind of trace that lightly. Okay, I missed this part here, but obviously it's a straight line. Okay, so now we cut this out with our nifty scissor. Sorry, I was using a book because I needed something. That book you saw 2 seconds ago, I was using a book as like a hard surface because I'm laying on my bed right now. Why? Because bed is comfy. It's a comfy place to work from. So that's why you saw me with, I don't know if you saw the name of the book was Christmas with Victoria. It's this book I've got with all these like Christmassy crafts and stuff in there, but I don't know. I only really have it out because recently a friend of mine, I gave her a shortbread recipe and it came out of this book. But anyhow, I digress. I'm going off on a tangent. So let's see. Okay, seems to line up fairly well. I do have to trim a little bit though because I think in tracing the paper moved. So I have a little extra cardboard sticking out around my picture. And I'm going to trim that and fix that. Okay. Trim. There. Now it's nice and nicely lined up. So, glue stick time. Okay. Let me see. Let me just make sure it's okay. So now, where's my glue stick? I just had it 2 seconds ago too. What did I just do with that glue stick? I just had my freaking glue stick. Oh, I'll just take out another glue stick. I have a couple of glue sticks here. Okay. So I got my glue stick. And we are going to go to town on this. Oh, no, 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 no. I didn't mean to fold that like that. I'm sure it'll straighten out, but... Trying to spread this out so it's not too thick. I don't want like a whole bunch of bumpy bumps on the back of my image. Okay. Let's... Okay. So, close that up. Now we gotta peel this back up, and we have to line it up on the cardboard and gently press it down so that our image is nicely glued flat. Okay. And this cardboard behind our image is going to protect our image so that when we glue it into the tin, it's not going to have the Altoid letter bumps in the image, because we don't want that. And now we flip this over again and we go to town again with the glue. Yeah, I think glue stick will work, so I'm just going to use glue stick. If it falls out later, I can use a stronger glue. It's not, I mean, I'm not worried about it. We'll see if it holds up. It probably will, but if it doesn't, we'll remedy it. Why? Because we are solution-minded people. We are not problem-minded people. That is a mantra that I encourage. Okay. You can glue a little more heavily behind the cardboard because this is not going to show up like it would behind a little skinny, thin piece of paper. You know, cardboard, ooh, cardboard can take a whole lot more. Alright, I have totally gone like crazy nuts with the glue. But hey, I just want to make sure that it stays where it's supposed to be. And now, I'm going to put this into the Altoids tin. Moments of truth. Okay. And like delicately press it in there. Damn it, I have a little glue ball on my picture. Give me 1 second. So one thing that's not great about glue sticks is sometimes you get those little bits of glue. Okay, I got it off. So there, now my image is glued inside my box. I hope I didn't look absolutely, completely ridiculous in the way that I went about gluing that in. I'm doing my best to be efficient here, not take forever, and entertain you while I show you what I'm doing. So, here's a problem with the box, and I'm going to use this lovely little trivet to show you. When you use it, it kind of lays flat, and you don't want that. You want your box to kind of stay like this, because that's kind of, you know, it's an altar. You kind of want the image to be like that, right? I thought of this, and I said, what can I do? What can I do about this dilemma? What I have discovered as a solution, what I came up with as a solution to the laying flat of the lid of the box, is I found that if you have a little binder clip and a rubber band, you can make a little makeshift stand for your mini Altoid tin altar. First thing you're going to do is you're going to put a rubber band around it. You're going to fold it so it's folded around twice, okay? And you're going to push it a little toward the bottom, and then you're going to, there's two bands here because it's been folded twice. The inner band is going to go inside the binder clip, and the outer band is going to go just over the little lip of the clip. And then you will find that your little altar can be held upright like this, so that it will be a little more, you know, a little more propped up. But if you can find a binder clip with longer metal clips, it can help it to stand a little more upright. So that's one option. If you can come up with something better than what I've come up with, try it, and please comment and let me know what you've come up with. If I come up with something better than this solution, I will also post an update, a little video updating, you know, any new method I should find. So, that being the case, this is how I have thus far come up with how to make this a little more personal to me. And the items that are inside my altar, the items I keep in here, I wanted to touch upon one thing that I realized I didn't talk about. You notice that earlier I mentioned all the elements are inside this box except for water. The reason why is because I couldn't fit anything in the box for water. But if you're going to be working with things like salt and water or libation or anything like that, probably the most basic thing you would want to work with maybe is a libation. I figure you can buy a drink, a bottled drink, or like, you know, anything to drink you can buy on the go, and you can just, you know, right out of the container you can use it. If you want to offer libation, you can pour some on the ground and then you can drink the rest. You know, and the same goes for like if you wanted to do like, you know how you do like cakes and wine if you're Wiccan, for example. Well, you could just buy some sort of little cookies or cakes, and, you know, wherever you happen to be, if you're on vacation or whatever, if you're camping and there's like a little store, like, you know, sometimes they have like a little general store near the campground. Maybe you could go and like kind of pick something up, or like, you know, if you pack something in your bag that's like, you know, whatever. So those are solutions. So you're probably going to have to deal with your water element kind of on the spot. But I included in this kit all the other elements that I could possibly fit. I wanted to put a little pocket knife in here, but I couldn't fit it. But that's okay, because if it's a situation where, let's say, you're not flying on a plane, if you're just going like on a cruise ship, or like if you're, if you're going on a cruise ship, you could put it in your what do you call it? your check bag, not your carry-on. If you're going on a road trip, it doesn't matter. You just put your little working knife, your little pocket knife in your pocket. But yeah, you could just take that with you and everything else would be in here. So the way that I would work with this is the paper and the pen I would use for if I was going to write a sigil or an intention. And let's say, I wrote one out. Well, I would place that in the bottom of my tin. Then, my mirror, I would pass it through the incense and everything like that, get it all ready. I'd put that over my petition. And then I would, charge my candle, anoint it with my oil, and then I would probably use a second candle, to, here, I'll even demonstrate. I would use a lighting candle because I don't like to melt wax directly from the candle I'm going to be working with. So I would use one candle to kind of melt some wax in here. And then I would take the candle I charged and anointed, and I would stick that. I would stick that like so. Let's pretend that I have charged this, I've dressed it with the oil. Again, let's pretend the paper underneath this mirror is a written out petition. So I'd get all ready, and, then you get your little incense holder, and I would put that right next to my mirror. And, maybe I'd charge my incense, and I'd light my incense to kind of set the atmosphere. And then I would stand my incense up on the incense burning disc. And then I would proceed to light my little candle. And that is how my altar would basically look in action. And I think it's a nice little setup if you don't have, let's say, a lot of space in your home. Or if you're going, again, like I said, on a vacation and you want to just do like quick little rites in between, events on the cruise ship, or between, going out on excursions and doing things wherever you happen to be. This is a nice little way to still observe your spiritual beliefs. And, I have a crystal again that I had in the kit. I could, while I'm watching my candle flame and smelling the incense, I could hold my crystal in my hands and I could charge an intention into it. And then later on, after this is all done burning, I could, just wear this as I go about my day to have the power of my intention amplified and to kind of just have that working with me so that the crystal will continue to manifest what it is that I charged it with. So basically, yes, this is how I would make this tin my own. I have not come up with what I want to do with the little one, as I've said before. I've not come up with a concept of what I want it to be. This one, I didn't include ancestors in this one because I feel like my ancestor altar in my house, I feel like I kind of like that just kind of being what it is, being nice and rooted in the home. I didn't feel that. And I feel like because I'm made of my ancestors, I don't really need to carry around a tin, like an ancestor altar in a little box with me. That's how I feel. Not that you couldn't. If you feel like you'd like to honor your ancestors, by all means, make an Altoid Sin ancestor altar. I just didn't feel it was something that I wanted to personally do. So for me, this is sort of like a little working altar with the powers depicted in it that I tend to work with. If you've enjoyed this video, I ask that you please like it. Feel free to share it on social media. Please consider subscribing. please consider joining Eva's House of Spirit on Facebook. That said, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be and Ashe.